Picture this. Deep in the mud of a World War I trench, somebody digs up a sealed tin can. They pop it open, and inside is a piece of bread that's over a century old. But here's the crazy part. Chemically speaking, you could still eat it. There are no artificial preservatives in there, no lab chemicals. It's just a 400-year-old recipe from northern German peasants that basically laughs at the concept of expiration dates. This stuff is pitch black and as dense as a rock. The Roman Empire absolutely hated it. It's literally named after a demon. And making it? Well, that came with a terrifying catch. Imagine baking a single loaf of bread that could either keep your family alive through a brutal 6-month winter or accidentally drive your entire village completely insane. So, how did medieval bakers take that massive gamble and completely outsmart modern food science, using nothing but dirt-poor grain, water, and a lot of time? Welcome to Old World Science. Today, we're tearing into the dark chemistry of Westphalian Pumpernickel. It's an indestructible survival ration from the Middle Ages that didn't just feed armies. It outlived them. So, where did this extreme food actually come from? Honestly, you have to look at the dirt. The soil in Westphalia, Germany, is sandy, acidic, and just incredibly poor. If you try to plant delicate wheat there, it struggles. But rye? Rye doesn't care. It'll sprout at near-freezing temperatures and just shrug off the frost. By the late Middle Ages, rye was the undisputed king of the North. But let's be real, it was rough on the stomach. The name pumpernickel actually comes from Old Germanic slang. Pumpern was a crude way of saying passing wind, and nickel meant a goblin or a demon. So outsiders were basically calling this heavy, dense loaf the devil's wind. Jokes aside, though, this stuff was a historical necessity. Think about the massive wars of the 17th century. Back then, broken supply chains and sheer hunger took way more lives than actual combat. Huge armies would just fall apart because standard wheat bread turned to mush on damp supply wagons. But Westphalian rye? A soldier could chuck it in a knapsack, march in the rain for 3 weeks, and pull it out perfectly edible. But relying on rye was a massive gamble. It came with a terrifying built-in risk. Rye is uniquely vulnerable to a parasitic fungus called ergot. And we are just talking about a little mold. In the Middle Ages, if a harvest was badly infected, an entire village could eat the bread and descend into total delirium. It caused severe neurological symptoms and terrifying tissue damage. They called it St. Anthony's fire. People genuinely thought they were cursed. In fact, modern historians strongly suspect that ergot toxicity is the real scientific explanation behind a lot of historical panics and witch trials. So, medieval bakers weren't just trying to stop their bread from going stale. They were handling a hidden biological threat. If it didn't process this grain with extreme care, they could accidentally cause an entire army to lose its grip on reality. So, how do you take a grain that dangerous and turn it into the ultimate survival food? The first secret is in the chemistry. Wheat uses gluten to get that nice, airy, fluffy structure. Rye doesn't really have functional gluten. Instead, it's packed with complex carbohydrates called pentosans. And if you look at modern food science, pentosans act like microscopic sponges. They can absorb up to 10 times their own weight in water. This is a genius defense mechanism against spoilage. You see, mold and bacteria need free water to survive. But the pentosans in rye grab onto those water molecules so tightly that even though the bread feels moist in your hands, the water is biologically locked away. To a mold spore looking for a place to grow, A moist loaf of pumpernickel might as well be the Sahara Desert. But a dry-feeling brick of dough isn't going to last 6 months on its own. They needed chemical backup, and they got it through time and fermentation. They never rushed this dough. They mixed it with a sourdough culture and just left it alone for up to 24 hours. While it sat there, specific strains of lactic acid bacteria, like Lactobacillus plantarum, went to war. They ate the sugars and pumped out lactic and acetic acids, dropping the dough's pH down to about 4.0. Acetic acid is naturally antifungal, so they were essentially building a highly acidic fortress where normal spoilage organisms couldn't survive. And as a cool bonus, this slow, acidic soak activated enzymes that broke down the anti-nutrients in the raw grain. Meaning, peasants and troops weren't just eating empty calories. Their bodies could actually absorb the iron and zinc locked inside. Now, if you took this dough and baked it like a normal baguette, the whole system would fail. The real magic happened in the oven, except they weren't exactly baking it. Medieval bakers packed this wet, sticky dough into heavy iron pans, slammed a lid on top to seal it tight, and shoved it into a cooling stone oven at just around 250 degrees Fahrenheit. And then, they walked away for a full day and night. Because of that sealed lid, the pan acted like an autoclave. It trapped the steam. And at that low temperature, the Maillard reaction, which normally just browns the crust of a regular loaf, slowly cooked through the entire mass of the bread. Over 24 hours, the starches broke down into simple sugars, making it naturally sweet. But more importantly, it created complex brown polymers called melanoidins. And modern studies prove these melanoidins are packed with powerful antioxidant and antimicrobial properties. This four-part system, water-binding sponges, acid fermentation, antifungal bacteria, and a 24-hour bake, was so bulletproof that it actually outlived the Middle Ages. Fast forward back to World War I. The German Imperial Army needed a field ration that could survive the absolute brutal reality of trench warfare. Mud, pests, chemical hazards, and zero resupply. They didn't hit the lab to invent a new formula. They just took traditional Westphalian pumpernickel and sealed it in tin cans. The bread's internal chemistry already fought off the bacteria. The tin just kept out the mud. When you pull a traditional Westphalian pumpernickel out of the oven, you aren't holding a fresh pastry. You're holding a highly engineered block of survival tech. Think about the commercial sandwich bread we buy today. It's pumped full of synthetic additives, and it still spoils in a matter of days. We traded historical durability for manufacturing speed. But centuries ago, in a world without safety nets, our ancestors couldn't afford a single point of failure. So they created a food that didn't rely on a modern supply chain. It was the supply chain. If you love digging into the forgotten genius of the past and the hard science of how humanity actually survived, hit that subscribe button for old world science. And let me ask you down in the comments, if you knew the science checked out, would you take a bite out of a 6-month-old loaf of bread? What about a 100-year-old trench ration? Let me know. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.